Imagine living in absolute wealth that you've always dreamed of, a luxurious home, endless vacations, and total financial freedom. What if I told you that you only need to make 10 sacrifices to live this dream? Well, here's the thing. You don't have to work super hard to become truly rich. The truth is, wealth comes with sacrifices that most people won't make. Let's explore the 10 sacrifices you need to make if you're serious about becoming rich. You need to know all 10 of them, so I recommend you watch this whole guide. Number 1. Sacrifice your ego. Now, let me make this clear. The first and probably the most difficult sacrifice you need to make on your journey to wealth is letting go of your ego. Because financial success often demands humility, something that doesn't always come naturally. In fact, one of the biggest barriers to learning and evolving is thinking you know everything, while you actually don't. Think of billionaires like Ray Dalio. As it turns out, his entire career was shaped by learning from his mistakes. He openly admits that self-awareness and reflection were critical to his journey. The ability to say, "I don't know," and learn from others, even those younger or less experienced, is what set him apart from the masses. You see, wealth building isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most adaptable. But your ego will try to convince you otherwise every step of the way. Sometimes your ego will convince you to cling to outdated ideas when you should be evolving. That's why sometimes you need to step aside and be a student. Number 2. Sacrifice for risk. Okay, so let me get this straight. Another huge sacrifice you need to make is leaving your comfort zone, because true wealth is rarely achieved by playing it safe. In other words, risk is not an option, it's a necessity. Think of it this way. Steve Jobs didn't revolutionize the world by sticking to what he knew. He stepped into the unknown and took monumental risks, like introducing a product no one had ever imagined, the iPhone. And as you'll later find out, risk-taking isn't just for innovators, it's for anyone who wants to break away from mediocrity. Surprisingly, staying in your comfort zone is one of the most dangerous places you can be if you want financial success, because comfort is the killer of ambition. So, you must become uncomfortable with comfort. Number 3. Sacrifice approval from others. Surprisingly, one of the biggest sacrifices on the road to building wealth is the need for approval from others. The truth is, pursuing wealth often means doing things that others won't understand. You'll make decisions that confuse people, take risks that they aren't willing to take, and set priorities that may seem selfish to those around you. But here's the deal, you're playing the long game, and most people won't see your vision until it's too late. Think about the early lives of many billionaires. They were doubted, ridiculed, and sometimes even shunned for their unconventional paths. Take Elon Musk, for instance. People questioned his every move, from PayPal to Tesla to SpaceX, but his bold ideas paid off in ways no one could have predicted. So, if you want to build true wealth, you have to be okay with people not getting it. You'll face criticism, and some people will distance themselves from you. The journey can be lonely, but the rewards? Oh boy, are they worth it. Number 4. Sacrifice short-term fun for long-term gains. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. Delayed gratification is a key principle of wealth building, and yet so many people fail at it. You might be wondering, why is it so hard to sacrifice short-term fun? Well, as most of you might already know, immediate pleasure is addictive. The late-night online shopping sprees, impulsive buys, and last-minute vacations are all part of the instant trap with money. But what's even more distressing is that those small, frequent indulgences can slowly make you poor without even realizing it. In fact, one of the reasons Warren Buffett became the legendary investor he is today is his obsession with financial discipline. He didn't throw all his money at fleeting pleasures. He saved money and invested it for the long haul. It turns out that's almost always a winning strategy. I want you to think of every dollar you spend today on something unnecessary as a dollar stolen from the future. Too close to robbing yourself. Sadly, most people would rather have the latest iPhone today than buy some stocks and hold for the future. Before we jump to the next point, I thought you should know it takes huge amounts of time to make these videos for you, and we'd love for you to support our channel by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks for that, and let's continue. Number 5. Sacrifice your traditional job security. See, many of the wealthiest people alive today sacrificed job security for something riskier but infinitely more rewarding, which is entrepreneurship and investing. Which begs the question, are traditional jobs really secure? Think about it. Many people cling to their 9-to-5s because they believe that a stable paycheck is the only way to ensure financial safety. But looking at the bigger picture, it's not. In reality, most corporate jobs cap your earning potential. You're trading your time for a set salary, and that's the ceiling. Elon Musk didn't get rich by staying safe in an easy corporate role. He gambled on startups like Tesla and SpaceX, ventures that could have easily failed. But here's the deal, he embraced uncertainty and bet on himself. Turns out, trading in job security for something bigger can pay off immensely. So, the job you think is safe is actually not. Try entrepreneurship and investing. Number 6. Sacrifice unproductive relationships. Okay, what happens when the people you love most are holding you back from reaching your financial goals? Sacrificing unproductive relationships is a painful yet needed step on the path to building wealth. You see, your social circle can either lift you up or drag you down. And if you're serious about building wealth, you need to surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow. But what's truly distressing is that most of us are in toxic relationships that are draining our energy and ambition. Maybe it's a friend who discourages you from taking risks, or the family member who's always borrowing your money without a plan to return it. These relationships can be financial landmines. So, are you going to distance yourself from them and save your future? These are the tough choices that will make all the difference. Number 7. Sacrifice your control to learn from a mentor. Here's the thing. Building wealth has never been a solo mission, and yet so many people struggle with the idea of relinquishing control. Here's the deal. If you want to succeed financially, you'll have to sacrifice the need to control everything and learn from others. To paint a clearer picture, successful people understand the value of mentorship. They know they don't have all the answers and are willing to trust the experience of those who've walked the path before them. Take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. As it turns out, he sought advice from Steve Jobs in the early days of Facebook. Imagine what Facebook would look like today if he'd let pride get in the way of learning from a mentor. See, many people miss out on wealth simply because they refuse to listen and learn. They're so busy trying to prove themselves that they forget that the smartest person in the room is often the one who listens the most. And you need to be that person. Number 8. Sacrifice your time to learn a new skill. Now, if you're serious about building wealth, you need to continuously invest in yourself. The thing is that time is one of your most valuable resources, and how you spend it will determine your future. In other words, you have to sacrifice your time to develop new skills and stay ahead of the ever-changing market. Let me explain. Billionaires like Bill Gates didn't become who they are by binge-watching TV shows or endlessly scrolling through social media. They invested their time in continuous learning. Bill Gates in particular credits much of his success to his lifelong commitment to self-education. To this day, Gates reads for hours every day. Turns out, learning never stops. Now, let me make this clear. Sacrificing your leisure time doesn't mean you have to abandon all the fun, but it does mean that you need to be intentional with your time. Every hour spent on trivial entertainment is an hour that could have been spent improving yourself. You'd be shocked to realize how much time people waste on activities that do nothing to move them forward. Number 9. Sacrifice health in the short term. Here's the thing. When you're working for success, something's gotta give, and often it's your health that takes a backseat in the early stages. I think we can all agree that no one should make health sacrifices a permanent part of their lifestyle, but it's not uncommon for entrepreneurs and business people to push their physical well-being aside while building their empires, especially when starting out. Take Jeff Bezos, for example. During Amazon's early years, he worked under immense pressure, enduring long hours and high stress. Bezos has spoken candidly about the toll those years took on him physically. But why would you risk your health for wealth? Well, as it turns out, success often demands intense periods of sacrifice, especially at the beginning. Sleepless nights and high-stress environments are sometimes inevitable when you're trying to build something great. But looking at the bigger picture, it's important to recognize that this should be a temporary sacrifice, because wealth allows you to eventually reclaim your health. In other words, wealth will eventually buy you the freedom to prioritize health later on. Number 10. Sacrifice leisure for hustle. Let me explain. Leisure and balance are luxuries that come after the grind. If you're serious about wealth building, your free time will be severely limited in the early stages. You've probably heard entrepreneurs like Gary Vaynerchuk talk about the value of extreme hustle, working long hours, weekends, and sacrificing social activities, all in pursuit of financial independence. Now, let me make this clear. You can have it all, but not all at once. During the hustle phase, leisure activities, be it vacations or weekend getaways, must be put on hold. The truth is, building wealth requires an extraordinary amount of focus and time dedication. If you're working toward financial freedom, every minute counts. But what I'm going to reveal next is perhaps the most interesting part. The sacrifice is temporary. Once you've reached a certain level of financial stability, leisure time returns in great amounts. As we've already seen, there's a price to pay for every step toward financial freedom. These 10 sacrifices are what separate those who simply dream of being rich from those who actually become rich. So, how far are you willing to go to achieve the lifestyle you dream about? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.